All right, guys, before we get too far into it, I wanted to say hit that subscribe button if you like what we're doing here and want to see this thing keep growing. That subscription number is so important because the bigger it is, the more legitimate we look when I reach out to, huge car guys, huge names in the automotive world, all that kind of good stuff. The more legit this looks, the better chance we all have to sitting down with some really cool car guys and helping this thing grow. So, guys, if you want to help the channel, help all of us get the best guests we can possibly get, hit that subscribe button. It helps a lot. It goes a long way. Let's get to the video. All right, guys, Justin Swanstrom is back. He was here, a couple months ago now, before you started No Prep King season.
Yeah.
And now you're like halfway through it. So you've kind of been getting beat up by the season as it does. I think it beats up everybody, that form of drag racing. Not attacking you. I think it's just how it rolls.
It's definitely hard. I knew it was going to be hard going into the season, but this is definitely the most competitive side of Street Outlaw No Prep Kings they've ever seen. We are, I want to say we're 7, maybe 8 races. We're going into our 8th race right now, and dude, there's 15 to 20 cars that can win it at any given point. Where 2 years ago, whenever I first started, I started season 3, I think there was a good solid 5 cars that can win it. Like, everybody has stepped their game up. So the competition's harder, the schedule's harder, just all around. And hell, we ain't even got to the hardest part yet. We're about to leave to go to Colorado, and we're racing for 8 weeks straight. So 8 races back to back.
And you start at like 10,000 feet DA.
Yeah, it's gonna be horrible. We go Colorado, Las Vegas. I've never ran in Las Vegas, so that's gonna be a cool deal for me. From Las Vegas, a 34-hour haul over to Ohio. Ohio then goes up to Michigan. Michigan over to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania down to North Carolina. Then Alabama. Then Texas to finish it off.
Dang, well, they kind of laid out their schedule a lot better than they have in the past.
They did.
It's a little bit more of a route.
It's got a little bit going. I mean, that drive from Las Vegas to Ohio is going to be a rough one. But once we get through there, everything else kind of jives with each other. For me, at least, me being over here on the East Coast. So I'm happy with it. And
I love that track out in Vegas. You're going to love that place, man.
I've never been there. I've been to Vegas one time. I went on the strip and all that, but never been to the track. I asked them if we were going to do the 4-wide because that is a 4-wide track. They didn't say no, but they also didn't say yes. So, I don't know if it's going to be some kind of surprise when we get there or when we got going on. But I heard that it's a very nice facility out there.
It's just cool because it's on an Air Force base. Okay. So the whole time you're there is just jet after jet. They're running routes. So they'll
nice.
go over the mountains, run back, and just constantly blipping the throttle right over the track. It's crazy to hear. You're the quietest thing when those things are going over.
Oh yeah, they do it all day long.
Oh yeah, at maybe 1,000 feet up above you.
Wow,
they're right there over the mountains. It's really freaking cool to watch.
Well, it's gonna be a fun experience for me. There's 2 tracks that I haven't been to this year that we're going to, and one is Vegas. Actually 3 tracks. I'm sorry. One is Vegas. The other one is Martin, Michigan. We're going there, and there's one in, I think it's Columbus, Ohio. It's called US 42, I believe.
Yeah.
Or US 41, something like that.
Yep.
So there is 3 new tracks that I haven't got to go there this year. Colorado, this is going to be the last race at Colorado, so there'll be no more racing on the mountain. That's going to suck. I did hear that they are relocating. They're going to try to buy another mountain, I guess, and try to build a track But it's the last 3 years that I've been there, you could see how much things have grown just because, I dropped my rig off about a week and a half ago, and then I flew home. And the housing development, everything is just growing up out there. Within the last 3 years, you could just see everything's getting closer and closer to the track. So I can understand why they're getting rid of it or have to get rid of it. But it's definitely going to suck.
It's funny because as drag racers, when we first started going to Colorado, the first time I was there was nothing around. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this kind of sucks. There's no food. There, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It was nothing around. And I was like, wow, this kind of sucks. There's no food or anything.
Yeah.
Then when they start putting stuff, you're like, oh, great. There's, a gas station, a restaurant. And then you're
adding up. And
Then you're like, oh, now it's actually negatively impacting us.
And that's where, like, I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like that's where our track is going here at home too, at Bradenton. I feel like, I know right now Garrett, Victor, and them, they've been, trying to fight against it, trying to get that going, but it's slowly moving its way out there to the racetrack. And in my honest opinion, sooner or later, you're not going to be able to fight it. It's just going to happen. It is what it is. Hopefully there'll be like another relocation and be able to do something, but you can't go up against them big corporations and big companies. They'll just smash you like a bug. So.
No, it's like a tidal wave. It just keeps like pushing in and pushing in, and like eventually you get pushed by it.
And like, so my parents do construction. I did construction before I did racing, and we've seen how this works. I mean, you have that big company, that homeowner coming in, and he's got endless money. So either you're gonna go ahead and apply by what they want to do, or they're just going to make your life miserable. I mean, sooner or later, we'll have an 8 o'clock curfew or something. You just won't be able to race. So I hate to say it, but I do believe that Bradenton, within the next 5 years,
I was thinking 5 years before they're dealing with complaints.
Yeah.
And then probably another 2 years of fighting complaints. So you kind of get like 7 out of that.
Yeah.
Because you'll be able to drag out complaints a little bit.
It's just I hate because Bradenton's my home track. I love Bradenton. It's an awesome facility. Victor has completely turned it around. He's put a lot of money back into it. I'm sure he's probably sickening by it. You got Garrett. He owns the Freedom Factory. I mean, that whole deal there too. But like you said, I mean, you can't go up against that kind of money, that kind of corporation. I mean, those people there just have endless budgets. So. It definitely sucks, but I mean, them guys are smart. Maybe they'll go ahead and relocate and put it somewhere else. But on their end, I'm on both sides. I mean, you seen West Palm Beach? They sold for millions, like millions. And then I heard Amazon is the one that just bought Colorado, so they sold for multi-millions as well. If they decide to sell that track, Bradenton, if Garrett decides to sell the Freedom Factory, they're going to get paid. They're going to get, and they'll be set. But those people are for the racing community, so I already know that they're going to do something different. It just depends on when it is. So my goal is I don't get to do a whole lot of racing in Florida, but I try to run Bradenton as much as I can because, like I said, it's my home track. I do like the facility, and I like the people there, and I like Victor.
Yeah, it's great going there with like Wade and those guys. It's very like Victor was on here talking about the vibe of it. He was like, the vibe is just great. And it's like this intangible thing that racetracks have that can make them great or not great. And it's not something that you can install. It's not something you can't put in better bleachers to kind of make like no track can like harness that intangible feeling when you're there. Like some tracks just have that.
You just have it or you don't. Just like I tell people all the time, there's some tracks we go to, they have a fan base. It don't matter if you only have 3 cars on the property or they have no fan base. That's just how it is. And Bradenton's very good about bringing in a fan base. Victor has really taken it to another level, like this pro mod racing. I mean, I think he did a couple races. It was like 30 grand. Then he moved it up to 50 grand. Now he's teaming up with West Buck. They have a $100,000 race that they did. And now I just heard on the internet or seen on the internet that they're doing another big race in Bradenton where they're going to have Top Fuel, Pro Stock. So that's going to be another big thing for them as well.
Yeah, they're doing like an invite all-star type deal where it's like $1 million in prizes, which is just unheard of.
That's crazy money for our sport. I mean, that's big money to race for. So congratulations to everybody that's involved with that and moving forward. And I hope they all have success with it.
Yeah, I really hope so too. I mean, it's obviously we all want to see any level of our sport, even if you're not involved in it. Like I'm not involved in, No Prep Kings, but I want to see it succeed.
For sure.
The same way, like I'm not involved in bracket racing, but I hope that tracks all around the country have a bracket program.
Yeah, it
helps.
I tell people all the time, like I see a lot of people that get online and, like bash tracks and everything. And there's been times that I've had, mishaps at a racetrack or something. And I don't necessarily bash the track. I'll express my feelings, what I feel like they could do a little better with. But my opinion doesn't really mean shit. I mean, it's like everybody else's. Yes, I feel like that's just how it should be. And And you can't bash your track, because sooner or later you see a lot of these tracks that are shutting down, and sooner or later we're not going to have nowhere to race. So that's why I tell people all the time is to support your track. Make sure you go. Make sure you're there. People complain about concession food or whatever. I do. Whenever I get there, I go buy concession. I don't care if it's a $20 hamburger, but that $20 goes back into that facility to be able to keep it open so we can keep going there to it.
Yeah, they need stuff like that, and tracks need the support, but also as I've been a part of small businesses and all that kind of stuff. I don't think any small business should be immune to, critiques by the community. Like, just because you're a racetrack, I don't think you automatically get a pass to be like a shit racetrack.
For sure.
Like, you kind of need to
They need to listen to their people that they're bringing in. If not, they're not going to have no business.
Like, if I went to a restaurant, I shouldn't just not bash them because oh, it's in my community. I gotta try to not bash them.
I agree with that, but like I said, it's a double-edged sword for sure. I think it needs to be a two-way street. Now, if you just have an owner, and there's owners out there that own racetracks that don't listen to nobody, and they're ones of the ones that are just going down. They're tanking. So
they're stubborn as can be. They advertise only in printed newspaper on Sundays and the radio.
And then they wonder why there's no view count. There's no spectators showing up.
They hate on people like you or me showing up because,
dude, I seen one. I can't remember what the track was. A guy got upset because somebody was live feed in the stands. They made him leave the facility. The dude went up to him, made him leave the facility, and I can't remember where I seen that at.
Yeah.
But it was a track that was up north, and to me, I was like, I feel like you would want them to live feed. Yes, you may not get that spectator count right there, but if they were able to see that online, I'm a visual person, so I seen that track. Hey, that's a nice facility. I'd like to go there too. You got to think about the bigger picture down the road, but instead they were just like, nope, no live feeds. You got to get out of here, and I was just like, oof.
Well, people also don't realize that guy live feeding is also filming all your sponsor logos. The track has sponsors all up and down the thing. He's also filming those. So it's not just the cars. Your sponsors will get more publicity too. They like that. Like if somebody took a photo of your car and you were like, "Oh, don't post that."
I see that
That's
too.
for your sponsor.
I see photographers get into it, and I talk about this all the time. Whenever people are talking about, don't film my car or don't take a photo of it, blah blah blah. Or even on the other side, the photographers are like, you're not allowed to make that post unless you at me or you pay for the photo. I laugh whenever if a photographer hits me up and says, hey, you got to pay for this photo so you can post it online. I won't post it. Two, I won't even respond back to it because I can go out there and take the same photo with my iPhone. But on the other end, I'm just like, you should want people to post your stuff with. Now, if people take your watermark away, I agree with that. Shouldn't do that. If you have your watermark on that photo, it should stay on that photo. That is your photo. But you can't be money hungry about it and do it. Especially I've had people hit me up, and it's just easier for me not to even go down that road. I just don't post it. Don't care. I don't care how good the photo is. So that deal there makes me laugh whenever people do try to do that, and that's where everybody needs to help each other out. And I feel like their business, if you are a photographer or if you're a videographer or anything, if they are showcasing your stuff, it's growing your business if you like it or not. So you need to take that and keep running with it. And some people don't think like that.
The best way for photographers to operate at any racetrack that I've seen is to get sponsors that go on every photo you post, because then you're giving out free content.
Yep.
The sponsors are happy. Those are the ones that really do well. Motion Raceworks, they pay for a ton of photos. They post 10,000 photos from every event, and everybody's posted their car, and there's the Motion Raceworks logo.
I tell you who else is pretty good. Who else is pretty good about it? And I don't know if he is with everybody, but he's been good with me over the years. And that's Kyle with Straight Line Media. He's very good about it. And I've hired him a couple times to come out and video when I'm doing a test session. But then there's times where I'm just at a track. By the time I make my pass and get back to the trailer, he comes over and he's like, "Hey man, if you want to post this, you can post it." I know it's going to get the view count. he knows it's going to get the view count, and he's got his name right there on it. And like I tell him, I don't mind it. I'll post it because it helps me out, but it also helps you. So he's very good about, working back and forth. And his deal's growing pretty good. Now he goes to a lot of these events, and he puts on videos for all the racers, PDRA and everything. So he's very smart about it, and that's where I like seeing that.
It's tough to make it as a photographer in the automotive world.
Oh, dude, I don't know.
It's not an easy deal.
I don't know how they do it, as in you pay all the expenses for traveling. There's not a whole lot into it. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I was younger, like running X275 and all that, I was like 16, 17 years old. I would buy that photo at the track at $30, $35. I can't tell you the last time I bought a photo. Unless I wanted, like, I did buy one. I think it was $200, but it was like a metal plaque, and I got it done.
Yeah.
Like something like that, cool. But I have so many photos now, you can't buy all the photos, and that's where I do feel bad for some of the photographers and everything, because they do spend their money to be able to go out there and do that. But I also tell them it's how you market it, how you got what you got going on, and what you need to do to hustle to be able to make your money to be able to do that. So you do see some of them get on there that bitch and moan and cry that they don't make no money or whatever, but nobody's forcing you to be out there.
Yeah.
So you have to go out there, and you have to make up your mind and figure out what you're going to do to be able to hustle, to be able to get the money that you think you deserve to be able to keep moving forward with it. But I know some people are going to get upset with me about it, but I've always wanted to.
They know it's tough to be a photographer. They know it's a saturated deal. They know, and I feel like probably stand in front of your videographer every now and then.
He does, and listen, my guy Skyler, he's cool about it. I had to kind of show him in the beginning, because there were some videos somebody would come standing in front of him, and like I told Scott, we're not being assholes, we're not being dickheads. If my car is up there getting filmed, you have all right to be able to tell anybody to get out of your way. And yep. I tell my guys that whenever you're up there with somebody else's car, if they get in your way, don't say nothing. And they don't. I said, do not say nothing. You need to move, relocate so you can get your shot if you want to get that shot.
Yep.
But with my car, I said, I don't care who is there. You go ahead and get them out of the way. And my crew, they do that. There's times I'll be inside the car and I'll see Big Daddy Brian or Slinky. He will literally move somebody so we can, because I need the shot for one, for my stuff, two, for whenever we go back to see what the car did going down the track. And I can't stand it when fucking somebody just stands right in front of the car.
We were at World Cup one year, big ass event. There's so many people on the starting line that have media, and this guy's live feeding, and he probably knows who he is. I've talked to him now since, but we were like the new guys kind of at that deal. And he was live feeding, and I stepped in front of him to film my video, and you can hear him on his own live feed go, oh, well, I guess I won't film this effing car. Stupid thing anyways, doesn't have any body panels, and starts cursing it up a storm.
Wow.
And turns away and walks away from Leroy. And I was just like, whatever, dude. I'm trying to film this car. You know that. Don't act like...
People try to get on a little high horse, and I don't know. I got into it one time at the racetrack. It was actually down at Bradenton. I want to say it was Flow Racing. They were doing a live feed or some shit or whatever. And the guy was right behind me, and I was videoing one of our cars we were tuning on. I was sitting there videoing, and he just got all pissed off. You need to get the fuck out the way, blah, blah, blah. And that was the only time that I kind of got hot, came unglued. And I said, you could easily move. I mean, it doesn't mean no different than me. You could have moved 3 foot to your right or your left and got your same shot. Instead, he was just trying to be an asshole about it. But that's, I don't know. I tell people all the time, and even there's a lot of people that get up on the starting line. My people go up on the starting line whenever I'm racing, and then they turn around and walk away. Very rarely will you see us actually just sitting up there. And if we are, then it's for a couple pairs, probably the faster guys that we're watching just to see what they're doing going down the track, and then we leave. But
and at a test session, you'll be standing up there. Yeah. Then it doesn't really matter.
So I don't know. That plays a big factor, because you do get some people that try to get on that high horse, and at the end of the day, we're all there to help each other grow. I tell people all the time, there's enough out there that everybody can make it, but you just got to be able to work together.
And you're a bigger guy, so if somebody's gonna stop, like, kind of get in your way a little bit, like this guy that I'm talking about, I think he was like 5'4".
Yeah,
he wasn't a big guy, and I was like standing kind of in front of him, and I think how kind of.
But he could easily. I mean, but that's another thing. You were up there with Garrett. I mean, it wasn't like you were just up there with some random car. Like you had actually a purpose of being there, and that's where people don't understand that. And for those, I just, whatever, go do your thing. You can be mad all you want. It don't matter to me.
And like I said, like I've talked to the guy since, and I never brought it up, mostly because I don't care enough. I don't hold anything like that. I just like let things roll off my back. The guy was probably up there for 8 hours live feeding. Dude. He was probably all pissed off, frustrated in the cold.
And so that's where this double-edged sword comes back into play, because there is sometimes that I do get a little ticked off about, and this is where I'll give Garrett his props. Shout out to Cletus. He owns his own facility. He owns Freedom Factory. He can film whenever he wants, and he can drop the videos whenever he wants. The people that come out it's gotten a lot more common now. Like you have, especially NPK, there's a good solid 5 or 6 YouTube channels that has blown up because all they do is just go to each track and film our cars.
Yeah.
Film our car. By the time I get from the return road back to my pits, the video is already up on YouTube. Justin just made that pass or whatever, where I have that same footage, but I can't get it up fast enough. So that's where, and I'm not mad at them for it, because that is, their hustle. They're making their money, but it also, some stuff like when I wrecked, there was so many videos that got put up because to get that view count, we wanted to get that wreck. There was one guy that literally, shout out Scott Taylor, him and his guy, they sent me the video and they're like, hey, listen, we got the video, but if you want to post it, you can post it. We're not going to post it, blah, blah, blah. And I respect them for that. But dude, within 2 minutes after, the video was on YouTube, and overnight it had 100,000 views. And so that's where it does come in that everybody nowadays is a photographer or a videographer, and they got a media pass.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of hurts some stuff.
It definitely makes it tough. It's kind of like ambulance chasing in a way.
Yeah.
Like, where you kind of like, it's the old lawyer thing where you follow the ambulances and then you kind of like.
And I did, I won't lie, I did that back in the day. I had, you probably remember it. This is when Garrett and them at Bradenton, they did that burnout contest. The guy had blew up the radiator.
Oh, yeah.
And he got burnt pretty bad. And mine wasn't like necessarily on that, but it was in my vlog. I had I flew 3 fans down, hung out with them for the weekend, and I took them to I think it's Cletus and Cars. Took them to the event. Well, that happened in the vlog. Like, I mean, it was only maybe 10, maybe 12 seconds in my video, but I didn't think nothing of it. And I posted it up, and it blew up overnight. And Victor reached out to me, and he asked me if I would take that video down. And I told him, I said, no big deal. I didn't think it was like that, or I wasn't trying to, glaze on something like that. But and I took it down immediately because its friendship is more than what I could have made off that video. But there is a lot of people that, chase around just to try to get that perfect shot. And
it's one thing like that too, is you posted something that wasn't like of a notable person. You weren't trying to use his name as much, like likeness for the clickbait, as much as you were just posting your video. But like, people post you because they know that when they post your car, it does better on YouTube. And
so like, I fell asleep overnight, and I never really asked Garrett about this, but I really do feel like, I think he kind of, after that, me and him had like a different type of feeling, because we used to kind of text and talk back that day. And when I did that whole deal, and Victor hit me up about it, and he's like, hey, me and Garrett, appreciate if you would take that down. And I did. I immediately took it down. But after that, we kind of like separated. And then everybody always asks, like, why don't we ever try to do content, or why have I never been invited to any of this stuff? And me personally, I honestly felt that was the reason why. I felt that was the reason why that I've never got to come do any of the stuff at the Freedom Factory, which is cool, not a big deal, but because I stay pretty busy. and that's where, and I tried very hard for like, after that, a solid year, as in trying to like make things right. Cause I did feel like maybe I did mess up, because I was reading the comments, and more of the comments were about the safety side of it. Like, hey, why was he in that situation? The radiator blew up, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, people don't realize, like, he built this car.
Yeah.
Like, this was not like he was a bystander.
For sure.
And I know him. He's a good dude. Like, he's fine now. Like, we've talked a bunch. Like, I've been down to his shop down in Northport. Like, he's good. Like, he builds motors now. Like, the dude's doing well. Like, he's not like struggling in any way, like medically.
Yeah.
He's got a couple scars on his arms, but he put the radiator there.
Yeah.
Nobody did that.
No one else. That was all on him.
Exactly. I know that there's like, the safety crew should have been more on it, but like, he also had a fire suit on, but fire suit don't help at all when you get sprayed with boiling water. It actually hurt.
Yeah, because the suit was soaked. He was trying to get the suit off as fast because it was just sitting there just burning him. But yeah, so that deal there, I never really talked about it. This is actually the first time that I've ever talked about it, and maybe I'm overreacting. I mean, if Victor and Garrett, they probably don't even give two fucks about it or think about it. They don't even think about it, but I do, because there's certain things that, like, I'm big on friendships and relationships and building stuff. So once that deal happened, it kind of shifted things, and I could just tell that the vibe wasn't there. Yeah. So I mean, maybe one day we'll get back around to it, and I would love to be able to be a part of all the other stuff, because it is pretty cool and what they're doing with it. And I tell people all the time, and right now, Bradenton and Victor, Freedom Factory, and Garrett, Cletus, they got it figured out. I mean, Garrett and them are just taken off by storm. They're buying up motorsport stuff now. I mean, what do they got? They got Motion Raceworks, TBM brakes, Rife sensors. He's just growing at a rapid rate, and that's good, because that's gonna keep our sport alive as itself, because he is actually a racer and wants to keep it going.
Victor had a really good point talking about just motorsports in general. He was like, motorsports needs heroes.
For sure.
It needs like people, when you think of like racing, drag racing, anything, circle track, like it needs like the guy you think of.
For sure.
And there's not as many as there was 20 years ago as there is now. Like,
I agree.
There used to be like big names where, like, I mean, even like John Force is still a huge name, and he's like the guy when you think of it, kind of like Dale Earnhardt when you think of NASCAR.
No, I agree with that too. You gotta have somebody with that personality, that likeness, and that is gonna help grow the sport. I like to think that I am somewhat one of those that brings people in, even if it's Street Outlaw, No Prep Kings. It brought in a whole different viewership. And it made everybody else, step their game up and want to keep doing theirs as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. But funny enough, that event that you were talking about, that Cletus and Cars, it was actually, I was reading about this last night, because I was way back in the archives of Reddit, where people were complaining about that event, but not because of what you're talking about. It was all up in arms about COVID. That was like peak of COVID in Florida, and then there was a big car event. And
well, shit, nothing slowed.
Everybody
shut
was
down in
so
Florida,
mad. Oh man, like had
to have been people out of state, because nothing shut down in Florida. Whenever I tell people all the time, like, COVID sucked, but like Florida didn't shut down. No. It was just normal to just go and do what you needed to do. Now, other states, you weren't allowed to do nothing. Some restaurants were closed down, or they'd be closed at 6 o'clock at night. And I mean, I appreciate Florida staying open and what they got going on.
But reading back 2 years ago, comments of what people were saying, of like, all this crazy stuff is like crazy right now, because it's like, some of those people, if they read back what they wrote, I bet you they'd be thinking a little differently.
People do that all the time. So
I was like, man, I'm glad I never wrote anything like that.
That's what I tell people all the time. Everything that I've ever said, I stand on, and I still stand on it to today. I don't ever, me personally, I don't feel like I ever say anything that's out of line that's going to be deal. So, that's where I don't think anybody can go screenshot something and be like, oh, you said this. And I probably feel the same way right now on how I did that. But there's a lot of people that talk shit. Hell, there's a lot of people that said stuff a year ago, 2 years ago, and then like I find like the post and I'll screenshot it and I'll put it out today because now they're my top fan badge on Facebook, and I'm like, damn, you've been around here a long time.
Yeah. Well, you start to see the same faces too on Facebook.
Yeah.
You can get 200 comments on every post, but like you'll still see the.
Oh,
like,
I see the one.
You
I got
know
a couple
it's the
of
same
them.
guys.
I got a couple of. I tell them, I said, dude, y'all been on all 5 posts today. Like, and they come on to try to get a reaction. And I used to give a lot of people reactions, and now I've kind of slowed it down and backed it up. I really let my fan base do it, and they're great about it. I mean, my fan base is pretty savage. And if someone's in there, talking shit or doing something, they go on and on pretty hard.
It takes time to get to that level where you have people defending you.
Yeah.
For a long time, it's only you.
For sure.
And then you finally get past like a tipping point where you have people defend you, and it's like a nice little switch. But I don't block anybody on Facebook. I mean, unless it's spam.
I just do spam.
Or
That's
a bot.
it. There's nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody gets blocked unless, like I said, spam, or if they just said something really out of the line and just had to, couldn't have that because I'm always scared of, getting my stuff either demonetized or getting blocked. So I just don't have that kind of stuff. And I read everything. So I'm pretty up to date on, all the comments, the posts and everything, and see what's going on. So there's definitely a lot of spam that I have to delete. But
I got to weed through that a lot. But I like not blocking people that are like trying to get blocked.
For sure.
Because they're working their hardest to get blocked.
Oh,
and
dude,
if you don't block them ever, they're just like out here working their hardest.
Yeah, it eats them alive to see it. And I tell people all the time, so this is like my go-to saying right now. I seen it on, I was in a restaurant one time, and it was on a plaque in the back of the wall, a little mom and pop shop. And it said something about people really like what I'm doing. They just hate that it's me doing it. Mm-hmm. Like if they were doing it, it'd be all hell glory, everything's good. But I live by that. So I tell people all the time whenever they're doing that is, you really like what I'm doing. You just hate that it's me doing it. So and
they'd rather it be somebody else on No Prep Kings.
Yeah, it just gets them more mad. Like I had one guy the other day. He's like, I started up a golf brand, and it's doing well. Swan Golf is kicking off. It's doing awesome. But he's like, I'm not a golf fan. I'm unfollowing you now. So like I just went back on there and commented. I like to joke around and have fun. And I said, what did I say? I said, this is not an airport. There's no need to announce your departure. Yeah. And it got like 200 likes on it. And everybody just over there laughing. And now he's all pissed off. So he sent back a message, sends me a private message, cussing me out. You shouldn't talk to fans like that.
Yeah.
So like those are the type of people you're never going to please. And I'm okay with them leaving.
You shouldn't talk to fans like that. But that guy just announced he wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
He just announced he wasn't a fan anymore. So why would you not talk to him?
It's just how people just want a reaction. That's all it is.
Yeah. And I'm happy to comment back and forth with people. People message me all the time, and I do reply. Yep. I don't know. People don't think I will, I guess. They're like, oh, you probably never reply to this.
This is where people get confused, is that like right now, if I was to open up my phone, and I bet you I have, not exaggerating, I bet you there's probably 750 to 1,000 messages that I haven't got to open yet.
Yeah.
But I have just under 200,000 followers. There's 200,000 of y'all. There's one of me. Nobody reads my messages. I read my messages. I respond. I'm the only one that you see on, when you see me comment, you see me post, that is coming from me. And I like doing that because I feel like I can interact more and I know more about what I do. There's a lot of people out there that have people that post for them or have people that act as them. And that's where you'll see, like, whenever they make a comment, me personally, I'm like, yeah, he would never say something like that. So somebody else is using their account. There's nothing wrong with that. But when people see me commenting or messaging me, it is me. Sooner or later, I'm going to get to the message. But it's just, it takes time. There's a lot of y'all, and there's one of me. Same thing with you. I mean, I'm sure you got, a lot of people that send you a message.
There's plenty of things I would outsource in this, and that's not one of them, commenting back to people, because that's like a very personal thing.
There's a lot of people that do that, especially over in the no prep world. I will say this, like, there's a lot of people that don't know, but like, some of the people that they're higher ups, are up there up front. They got people that run their social medias for them, that like it's not them that they're talking to. And me, I don't I don't think that's right. I think if you're gonna, have that fan base, you gotta be able to talk with them and keep moving forward. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why my stuff has kind of grown up pretty fast, is because it is authentic, and I do say how I feel and just keep moving forward with it.
How many meetings do you think the show has had about you, like the producers and stuff? You think they've had some meetings about that? Because you're less controllable than some of the other guys because you have your own deal.
Yeah.
You're not like chained up as much.
I don't know if they've like had meetings. I do know that like we've been in like our group meetings like at the beginning of the year, and they have announced like Justin Swanstrom does good with, trying to build the brand, trying to move. And I really want to see it succeed, and it's going to succeed. Street Outlaws is probably one of the biggest platforms out there, and they've been doing it for 13 years now. I've only been doing it for 3 years, and I don't see it going nowhere. There's so many big things that's coming to what we got going on, and they make sure they let us know, not the whole spill, but they give us an idea like, hey, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, I have been used before, as in like, y'all could post more like Justin, you could interact more, you could do that. Same thing they say about, Murder Nova, Jeff Lutz and all that. But I don't know if they actually, have meetings, other than I did get in trouble one time.
Well, because they have to report, like they have to worry about things like the FCC and like actual like governing bodies when you're on cable television.
For sure.
That definitely, maybe there's some behind the scenes talk of like, where's their line? Like what is, they might have a line somewhere.
They may have a line. I like I said, I didn't get in trouble, but I did get a phone call. One time I got a phone call from the higher ups. Basically, Chuck had went to jail, and I made a T-shirt that said "Free Chuck," and I put his mugshot on the T-shirt. And so I did get a phone call, and it was like, "Hey, I don't think that's really good for the brand. Would you mind taking that down?" And I did. That was the only thing I've ever taken down, but that's the only thing I've ever been asked. And at the time, I was like, I thought it was funny as hell, but it is what it is. Not a big deal. We took it down and moved forward. But for the most part, man, they really let us do whatever they want, like whatever we want. Like they don't get on us. And I'm sure, and Sam, which is our boss, and he's the head guy. I'm sure he's had to go to a lot of battles with, and we don't know about it, but I'm sure he's had to battle a lot, because they're probably dealing with, a higher up Hollywood and all that. You can't do certain stuff, and he does. He allows us to do really whatever we want.
Because everybody reports to somebody.
Yeah.
And I mean, even Discovery Channel's in a weird deal right now because they just merged with Warner Brothers Entertainment. So it's like,
I don't follow all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know exactly where that all is going, and how that all plays out. That's that's above my pay grade. But like I said, I don't think Street Outlaws is going anywhere.
I was gonna say though, would the events still proceed without the show, or would the show still proceed without the events? Like, are they kind of locked together, or if the show went away for some reason because crazy things happen there?
I don't think the show ever go away. As in, maybe the name will, but at the show, they'll come up with something different, or do, if it ever came down to that. But like I said, the view count, the spectator count, everything that's going on, it's just steadily skyrocketing. So that's the good thing about it. And yeah, no, I don't.
I know executives do some dumb stuff sometimes, though, man.
I could believe that, and like I said, that's above my pay grade. I don't know how all that works. Yeah. I'm hoping it lasts another 5 to 10 years. For me, that's amazing for me, and I'm going to do everything I can to help it try to succeed, to keep lasting for that long. That's my job, and that's what I need to do to be able to make sure that does. But if it doesn't, I have other stuff that I can go do and make sure that I'm okay. I don't have all my eggs in one basket.
You see, I feel like a lot of people don't think that. Like, a lot of people don't think like you, where like you're trying to help the show grow. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are thinking like, I'm just trying to leech off this cash cow as long as I can until they're gone.
And I told, like this year, I told you whenever we first went, I got on a contract. So this is my first year with a contract. And, you know, everybody's online like, oh, he did so much better when he wasn't on contract. Because this year we struggled a little bit. I mean, I just fell back to 10th place, went out first round, both races, last 2 races. I'm not happy about it. We just got some kind of gremlin going on with the car. We've been backfiring a lot. We've been hurting a lot of parts. But we're gonna turn it around and we'll get back out there. But you know, it's money what keeps this thing going, but it's not about the money. So it definitely helps. I ain't gonna lie, it helps because you know we do get a check for doing that and all that. But it costs a lot to run. I mean, I just made a post the other day, and that's one thing I say about my fans is that I'm always truthful with them. I have a lot of people that were on the internet and was saying he's got too many irons in the fire because, you know, I got Justin Swanstrom Racing, I got Swan Gang, I just started up Swan Golf, we're doing the podcast, I'm doing all different stuff. And the reason why I do that is because I am trying to generate revenue to be able to keep racing. The racing is my main focus. That's what it is. I know a lot of people think that I'm focused on other stuff, which I am, but
you have to.
I have to. So I made a post up because, you know, I was truthful with everybody. I've spent $532,000 this year to run, what are we at, race 7 or 8? That is everything. You know, 75 grand went to Cameron at the beginning of the year to update prenup because the new car is not done. Mm-hmm. So, but I had to spend it. I had to do that to be able to do it.
And he just bought a new Cadillac. He just took that money and just.
I feel like I've bought Cameron a couple cars. I think that R8 that he had, my name should have been on the title, but
at least on the plate.
Yeah, it should have been something.
JSR plate.
I didn't even get to ride in it. No, I tell people all the time, man, it costs a lot. So I was very honest in my post when I said, when you see me do stuff like this, it's not that you think I want to be up till 4 or 5 a.m. trying to make sure everything's right. Do you think I want to be stressed out to the max, figuring out what I'm going to do to be able to try to get funds to keep moving forward? Yes, we have sponsors, and I have good sponsors, but the sponsors only go so far. Once that money's gone, it's what it is. I still have to make an income for what I'm doing and to be able to keep moving forward. And when I seen that number, I ain't going to lie, I was sick to my stomach because that's just a lot of money to spend on this deal. But on the upside of it, I'm okay with doing it because I do get to meet the fan base. I do get to travel the country. I do get to go to these different facilities and have fun. And my family, we get to have the memories with it. So even though I complain about, spending that kind of money, after this podcast, I'm getting on a flight to head to Colorado to do it again. And we're going to be racing for the next 8 weeks. But I wanted people to understand that I do these other platforms and what I got going on to be able to functionally run this platform here. And that's where people don't really understand it, or at least I don't think they understand it.
So, I mean, you don't have to get into this at all, but if you were to look at a pie graph of your income, how much of it do you think is from the show versus your own side deals? I mean, you don't have to talk about that at all.
I mean, no.
Is it like 20%, 30% of the show is paying the bills? Or, I mean, who's paying most of these bills? Like what avenue?
I would say the show is probably 10%.
Really?
Yeah.
So your contract
is
only 10% of that.
Contract would be 10%.
Of not that you've spent already, but just in general of what you spent.
So, and it may be even a little less if I really broke it down into it. I mean, this year I'm spending a lot more money than what I'm doing, but merchandise is really what keeps me going. The online merch is what does. Everybody that buys, and that's why I tell people all the time, like every post that I make, I put on a thank you. I mean, thanks for the support, what you got going on, because I do really mean that, because without that, I wouldn't be able to do this. Yeah. My online merch is what keeps things rolling. Plus, YouTube, Facebook, and then sponsors. And that's why I wanted to do the podcast. One, I like talking. I like, being able to interact with somebody and hopefully being able to ask them questions, get them to answer and stuff. And it's also going to give us another avenue to be able to reach out to my sponsors like, hey, we could do a sponsored video. If we can get, 40, 50, 60, 100,000 views over here, that's 100,000 views towards your company as well. So I do think about different things and try to come up with new ways to be able to generate flow to keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, I think that's what people don't realize. They're like, oh, he's doing all these other things, but it's like, no, it's creative funding for his racing program. Like, I see it as like you were selling stickers on the side of the car. Like, that's a creative way to fund your program, whereas other people are just sitting there struggling to even go a little faster because they don't have the funds to do it, whereas you're getting creative and finding ways to make those funds. And sometimes it takes some trial and error. Like, some things may suck.
Some things I flunk on, and that's it. But there's other things that I do really, really well on.
You need hundreds of failures to have a success.
For sure. And I tell people all the time, I know a lot of people, and I say this in the most humbling way possible. When I do come out with something, it seems that like a lot of other drivers take it and run with it. And it doesn't bother me because I'll always come out with new stuff. But that is one thing that I can say I do respect Garrett the most, is that, like I said, he has his own facility that he can shoot videos at. He can do his stuff, and he kind of has it down to where, like, when he goes and runs his events, he's the only one there selling merch. I mean, unless, Motion Raceworks or something comes, they're able to sell merch there as well. Like our event, there's 44 other drivers that's doing the same thing that I'm doing. And I will say, when I first came in, nobody was really doing YouTube. Nobody was doing the social media. Nobody was doing all that. And I was pushing it very, very hard. I knew where it was going to go. And
they have people like Speed Society just posting on their social media forum and stuff, like actually connecting with fans.
For sure. And I think Speed Society was running like 8 or 10 accounts, like some of the main guys as well.
And they're just spamming with articles.
So that's where, like, and I knew where it was going, and it's turned it around. Now you see more of, Daddy Dave, Ryan Martin, Scott Taylor, Stinky Pinky. And I'm not saying they're copying by no means. This is the lifestyle that we're in. This is what they need to do to be able to race their program just like me. But I will say that I feel like I had somewhat of an impact, as in what brought that to light.
Yeah, you've kind of laid out the business plan and the formula for being self-sufficiently successful without the show being your main source of everything.
For sure. And like the first 2 years I did it for free. And I did. And I didn't know if I was going to do it this year. Whenever we were talking about it, I was talking to my dad. I just told him I would love to get a contract. If I got something, I knew it was promising moving forward. And we did. They hit me up, and I was like, you know what? That's awesome. It's amazing. I mean, it doesn't even matter what it was. It's more than what I had before. So that was a good thing about it. And I even tell them, dude, I hit up Sam. I hit up the producers. I tell everybody, thank you for the opportunity, because I do really mean it. And I hope that I am giving them what they're giving me. I'm hoping it's worth it to them. And I think it is, because, I haven't got fired yet. So, but I don't know. The way we've been going here the last couple of races, we haven't got to make it to the end of the season. I might get fired at the end of the year. But
I'm sure at the end of the year they have a reevaluation meeting, because unless you're signed on for next year, you don't know yet.
And you won't. That's one thing about it. Like,
they ain't giving out 5-year contracts.
I didn't get my deal until 2 weeks before the first race.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know for sure.
And that's just a 1-year deal, right? They're not like, does anybody have a multi-year contract?
I don't think so.
So that means that
they re-advise every year.
So they're playing year to year, which is
sure.
It's a bit of a scary thing. Like, it'd be nice to at least know somebody maybe has a 5-year contract.
No, I really do think everybody is on a 1-year deal.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, that makes it a little it's a scary place to be.
Yeah, especially and so for me, I'm investing it all back into this year. You got to think. I'll say it. I spent $75,000 on the update for prenup. I'm building a 1969 Camaro, so that money comes out of that as well. So that does go into that. $530,000, but just say hypothetically we take 150 grand off of it, just take it off of there. And that's, the cars and my living livelihood to eat food, go travel, do whatever. That's where it's still a lot of money to spend on racing for only the first half of the season.
Yeah, that's huge.
Oh, it's crazy.
I mean, that's pro highest level of racing money.
Oh, it's gotten to the point now. I mean, it's a professional deal. I mean, and like I said, the competition last year helped me out, and that's the reason why I kind of had a little bit of a nest egg in my bank account, was because I was able to win, a couple events last year. And I've gotten close this year. I've went to the first 5 races. I went to the third round. Couldn't get out of the fucking third round, but went to the third round, and then we come back after our break, had an excellent test session over in Orlando, and then we just turned into dog shit. And first 2 races back, we've went out first round. We have grenaded 4 or 5 motors. It's cost a lot of money. And so I'm just trying to recoup from all that and keep moving forward. And hopefully Colorado is better for us.
What do you think has changed so much in the dominance of, like, last year you kind of knew how a lot of things were going to shake out? Is it the rules changed a lot? Did people kind of readjust their setups to try to be faster and kind of, miss the ball, hit kind of miss the mark on some things?
I think just the rules didn't really change. I mean, everybody has to run under the same rules.
Yeah.
But
from last year to this year, because somebody like Ryan Martin, who is less dominant now, or not dominant at all.
Well, I don't think he's less dominant. I just think everybody else, and we've talked about this before, everybody else has stepped up their program.
Okay.
Last year, you could go out there, haze the tires, pedal it, and beat 80% of the field. You could get close by the wall, get out of it, pull a car back over, and if you were one of the fast guys, you were pretty much going to get a win in 2. This year, it's not like that, man. You get caught sleeping on the tree, you're done. You smoke the tires at 60 foot, you're done. You get over by the wall, you're done. And that's where I think everybody has stepped their game up, and it's not that Ryan's doing shittier this year. I mean, he's doing good now. Like I said, he's about to turn it around this next 8 race swing. He's not going to be bad for a while. I know he was struggling in the beginning, but I told everybody, like, he is going to turn it around for this next deal here. But everybody else just got faster, where now you got 15 to 20 cars that can run 380s. Like, they're there. So you fuck around and have a hiccup, you're gone. It
almost sounds like it's becoming like small tire racing, where if you have any bobble in a small tire car, if you're an LDR and your car spins, you're
done.
Walk away.
The competition has gotten so much stiffer. You got these people that are hiring professional tuners. They got the same setups that Ryan has now, and so it's just going to be whoever's better that day. It takes a lot of luck to go all the way to the end and win one of the NPK events.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of becoming. I mean, I know we talked a little bit about how fast they were kind of going.
Yep.
Me and Victor I think Victor was saying like 380s, 390s, but I was like, I think you're thinking
for NPK?
I was like, I think they're faster than that.
No, right. With the rules this year, and running on a 34.5, mid to low 380s.
Okay, that's pretty solid.
So you might have 1 or 2 that can dip in the 70s.
Yeah.
So on a no prep surface.
Yeah, it's going to be tough up in Colorado, of course, but
oh yeah, I don't think anybody's going to go faster than 415 up there. 420.
Man, I know Stevie Fast has always talked about
Yep.
he would come in and slap up the field.
He wouldn't.
I'd love to see it. I think he would be great for no prep.
Will he come in and win a race? For sure. Will he come? I don't even know if he'll come in and win a race. Let me take that back. Will he come in and do good and go rounds? 100% for sure. He's got the knowledge. He's got the money behind him. He's got the experience. Will he come in and just mollywop everybody? Negative. Because right now you have Steve Petty over here. You got Brandon from Proline. You got John Salemi. You got Kai Kelly's tuner. And they are doing amazing. Jeff Pierce and Kai are like just taking it by storm right now. But you got Jeff Pierce over here. You got Brandon Pez over here. You got all the professional tuners that are realistically kicking his ass over in NHRA. So it ain't like you're just going to roll over here. And that's where I tell him into play. And I say, will he do good? Yes. Will he come over here and dominate? No.
Well, granted, I think he may have been saying that more before this season started.
Probably. I could agree
because
with that.
I think this season maybe put a different tune into that whole deal. Because last year, maybe the thought would have been a lot different. After watching last year.
And even last year, I do think there was still 5 or 6 cars that would give him a good run for his money.
Yeah. Now I think it's probably a little bit tighter than. For sure. Or you already have said it's a lot tighter than it ever was.
But I laugh whenever I see that. I mean, and I like Lyle. Lyle's a good friend, and all that. But whenever they get on there and they're talking like, "Hey, we're just gonna come over," and like come on, just
no, nothing against anybody. Shit talking is part of racing.
For sure.
That is like half of racing.
I enjoy it. I like it. And I mean, I would be the first one that would grudge race. Like, I want to run for some money. But
it's good for the sport, too. I think there's rivalries are good for every sport, and especially drag racing, where you want to know that those two guys at the light, they want to chop the other guy's head off. They want to, that's great for the sport. So I kind of I like to see people lean into that a little bit.
I think it's amazing for the sport. I love talking shit. I love having fun. I kind of backed away from it a little bit this year because the two people that I was talking shit to last year were John Odom and Jim Howe, and they're both on my team this year. So I can't go about it like that way. Me and Kai, we have fun. We go back and forth. He's beat my ass this year all 3 times. I haven't been able to beat him yet. So hopefully I could turn around this back half of the season. But him and Jeff have got that car rolling, and they're doing well, and it shows for it. They're number 1 in points right now.
How does that work with the teams? Like, you guys pick the teams, but
we did like an NFL draft at the beginning of the year. So they had 8 captains. We were all sitting up there, and you drew chips, and that figured out who's number 1 through 8, and just go through, pick your first pick. Come around, get your second draft pick.
So did Odom pick you?
No, I picked him.
You picked him. Okay.
Yeah, so I got Jim Howe first. I kind of had a strategy going into it. Callie Mills was on my team last year, Swan Gang, and I wanted her back on my team this year. My dad tunes her car. I was like, if I pick up Callie first, somebody is going to pick up Jim. And Jim's fast. I said, so I'm going to go ahead, and I told Callie this. I said, I'm going to pick up Jim first. I do believe that Jim's car is a little bit faster than Callie's at that time. I said, I'm going to pick up Jim first. I said, and I'm hoping that when I come back around for my second round draft pick, you are still there. And she was. So I picked up Callie. John just came out pretty lucky because nobody picked him up, and it worked out good because Jim tunes John's car. So we come back around for round 3, and I was like, all right, so I pick up John. I got 4 screw blowers. And then the last one was Tony McKinney. He was another screw blower car. And Jim said that he was going to start helping him out. So that's the reason why we picked up Tony.
It would be weird if they weren't on the same team, Jim and Odom.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Seems like they need to be on the team together.
If they did, and we even talked about that too. Like if they did get split up, trust Jim's going to tune his car just to go just as fast. I mean, he's not going to do nothing different. But it is better that they are on the same teim.
Is that why you started wearing collared shirts once you got Odom on your team?
No.
Started golfing and wearing collared shirts. I feel like that's the real estate way.
I've always been like a regular t-shirt guy. But like I said, I started up this brand, and Swan Golf. I've been golfing a lot here lately. I think more of the reason why I've been golfing a lot here lately is because I've seen how much I spent on race cars. So like golfing's way cheaper. And it's fun. I'm not gonna lie. And it's also teaching me to not rush through things. Let it play out, process. So golf does have a factor behind it. And I actually believe in the brand. So if I wear it, I know other people will know that I believe in it because I actually do. And it's doing well. I mean, man, we kicked it off 2 weeks ago. And it's starting to do good. And now we've got linked up with some bigger companies to be able to keep pushing it. And it's just another way for me to interact. I'm flying to Colorado today. Tomorrow, I'm going out with a fan to go play around the golf. And
nice.
So now we just, take fans out.
That altitude's going to get you, man.
Oh, man. One of my crew guys, Slinky, he told me, you've been to Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how steep the hill is in the staging lanes. He told me for $100 he could start at the bottom and run to the top without stopping. So we're definitely getting that whenever we get there.
Do you have medical staff on standby?
I said he goes because they don't believe me. My guys, I got two new guys this year. They're like they don't believe me that the air is different up there.
He doesn't believe in altitude.
He's like I'm telling you I can do it, and I'm like okay. I go well, we're just go ahead and let you go prove yourself wrong or something. So
he might still die. I mean, he might do it, but he might like. I could get to the bottom of the ocean. Yeah. I might not make it back up.
We'll see how it plays out. And then he just sent me. I was just looking at my phone earlier this morning. He just sent me over a link that I guess up there they sell cans of air.
Yeah, I got one over there. Yeah, I got one. It's the little green bottle.
A can of air.
Yeah, they're kind of like you like hit them. Like it's. I was like, let me buy one. It was like a whip it. That's what it felt like. But it's not really much like that at all.
So I sent him a text. I said, listen, man, I hope you don't go over there and buy that. He's like, man, it's only $15.
It's mint flavored too.
That's crazy.
No, they sell them at every gas station.
Whoever did that is a multimillionaire now. Just because there's a lot of people out there that just go buy it for no reason.
Well, when you're on like Rocky Mountain Race Week or something and you're just driving around, like you want to just be out of your car after.
Yeah.
You just drove 4 hours in your car like across the mountains. You're like, I just want to like walk around the gas station a little bit.
For sure.
And then there's like stupid shit like that. So you're like, oh, I guess I'll try a can of air.
I haven't bought one yet. I probably will. But yeah, I haven't bought one yet. But he looks like he's going to buy a whole case.
They're actually pretty good. We were up there with the first time we were there, we had our golden retriever with us. Okay. And she walks out, she like goes to like prance to use the bathroom, and she like turns back, like looking at us, like, what the hell? Why can't I breathe?
Yeah.
Like,
it's bad, and I tell people all the time. And so I've been there 2 years so far. We can't breathe. The race cars can't breathe. Like it's gonna be tremendously slower up there. But I made a lot of changes. I bumped compression up. I loosened my stator. I changed my rear gears. I tried to do as much as I can to try to help the car out to be able to make it.
Dang, that's a pretty big swing though.
You have to when you go out. So Colorado and Vegas will make the changes like that, and then I'll make
tuners will be scared to make a change like that, which would be good
for sure.
Could be good for you if they're scared to make a big swing.
We'll see how it plays out. I'm hoping. Like I said, I mean I went out first round the last two races, so. I got to do better than that because if not, I'm just going to keep falling back in points. I mean, luckily, I had enough points where I've only fell back. I'm tied right now for 10th, so that works out good. And I just need to try to do better this weekend so I can get back in that grade 8.
Yeah, that's an interesting spot to get kicked out of.
Yeah.
What happened with that kid that saved you with the parts?
Say it again?
The kid that saved you had a part that was like from your car that you needed back.
Yeah.
I saw you post about that, and I was got a kick out of that one.
So we were in Kentucky, and we hurt a rocker arm. The roller on it, either got too hot, whatever, seized up. So we took it off the car and put a new rocker arm on, and went and did our race. We won the shootout that night, so it worked out good. Next day, I'm out there signing autographs, and this kid comes up to me, like 7 years old, maybe 7 or 8. He comes up and he's like, hey, will you sign this? And so I look at it and I'm signing it, and I'm like, man, Reed. And I told him, I said, that's the same thing I run. Where'd you get that from? And I'm looking at it, and it's burnt at the end where the roller's at. I said, hey, mine's burnt too. I said, where'd you get that from? He goes, oh, that guy over there gave it to me. And it was Brian, my big bearded guy. And I said, what? He's like, yeah, he gave it to me. We got a fly
a little net.
He's like, yeah, he gave it to me. He goes, will you sign it? Well, now I done already talked about it a little bit. So now I got like a couple hundred people looking at me. So I couldn't take the part back. I said, okay. So I signed it. I gave it to him. I went over and got with Brian, and I told him, I said, did you really give the whole rocker arm away? Because like all we had to do was just hit the press pin out of it, put a new roller in it, and it was good to go. So it's a $650 rocker. Not a big
one of them.
Just one of them. Not a big deal as, the money side of it. I was like, all right, we got through. I was pissed at the time. I was tore up. I was pissed at the time. And I said, all right, I'll buy another one. Comes out, they are on national back order. So you can't get one. Mm-hmm. Can't get one from nobody. So now I got an engine that is down one rocker arm. Can't even put it in the car because it's down one rocker arm. So then I made the post asking, basically, I was like, hey, I hate to do this. I said, but if anybody knows who this kid is or his family, if I can get the rocker arm back, I will buy the rocker arm from you. So I will give you I think it was like $620 or $650. I said, I will give you the money, and I will also give you a credit to every item on my website.
Whew.
So it was,
man, you shot pretty high right off the kick though.
But I needed it. Like I
could have given him some other part or something.
And there was a lot of people that commented on it, and they were like, I feel like you could have gave him something.
Yeah, like an old piston or something. I got one laying right there.
I wanted to make sure that we were able to do it.
Yeah.
And it blew up, and it got a bunch of shares and everything. And good thing about it was, I wasn't able to get the rocker arm back because I never got to reach out to the kid. But the company Reed hit me up, and they were like, they seen the deal, and they were like, hey, we just so hypothetically have one that's here. Like somebody didn't take it. And I said, yeah, I'll take it. So I was able to get it back and be able to complete my motor and put it back together. But dang. Yeah, I went ahead and let my guys know that there will be no more giving stuff out unless it comes through me first.
Yeah. Be very sure before you hand out parts, because that's what you were talking about was parts. When you were here the first time, you were like, people parts? Aren't going to be able to get parts on the second half of the season.
So what's funny about it now is like we've been popping a lot of burst panels here lately, blowing up the car and shit. And the burst panel, I don't know, they're like $15 or some shit. But my guys come up to me and they're like, hey, can we give this away? And I'm like, yeah, it's destroyed. Yeah. It's blown up and everything. And I'm like, yeah, you can give it away. But and I'm okay with them doing that, because that deal there, it put me in a bad situation. And I didn't know when I was going to be able to get one. And if I needed to put a spare motor in the car, I was going to have to tear this motor apart to be able to get a rocker arm off it to put on this one. And they're not individual rockers. They're a one-piece stand. So you got to take the whole stand off. Then you got to take the stand apart. It just turns into a whole process that I did not want to have.
And they have to be good on the motor that's coming out. Oh, dude. Because if it's coming out, it must have a problem of some sort.
It all adds up. So that's where I was in a really, really bad situation. And I hated to make that kind of post because I've never wanted to take something back. And I'm glad that I really didn't get to reach out to him, because, he got to keep that part. I'm sure it's hanging in his room or something somewhere. And I was able to get it hooked up with the company, and they were able to make me one.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would fault you for making that post. I can't get the part. I need it.
There was a lot of people on the internet. Indian giver, you're taking it back. What was the reason of giving it away? I didn't give it away. It wasn't me.
That's freaking funny. I wouldn't think anybody could possibly take that.
Dude, they'll take anything that I do, and that's where I don't really care. As in, I know I have a very loyal fan base. So the ones that just sit there and talk shit, I just let them go. They've been talking shit for the last 2-3 years. They're still around. They still watch. And they still interact. Hell, most of them have top fan badges.
They'll keep talking shit too. Yeah, the top fan stuff is funny on Facebook.
And even people get on they'll say something and be able to be like, damn, you got a top fan badge? And I just laugh at it.
There's a way to shout out your top fans too. They're in the back end of Facebook. You can because I've had some people that were talking shit to me a bunch. And I wanted to go you can make a post of these are my most interacted people this month. And it's all the people that talk the most shit.
I tell people all the time, I am big on, I bet you I probably have 17,000 screenshots in my phone. And I'm
got the receipts.
I'm big on screenshots. I keep all the receipts, especially when something happens and that I know it's in the right way. It's done, over with. Yeah. I'll post it up and immediately. So
in your contract, do you have to be at a certain amount of races this year? Is that part of it?
It is. So, it is for our 15 race deal.
Okay. Wait, is it 15 races and you have to be at all 15?
Yeah, but they're pretty lenient. If something was to happen to you or something, I've never had that situation happen, so I haven't been down that road yet, but I'm pretty sure they'd be pretty lenient. I know there's been some people that, wreck a car or a car's destroyed. As long as they showed up on the property, they still got their fee. Yeah,
because I feel like that would be a weird thing. Cars wrecked. What are you gonna do? Some people can't get the car together.
No, I agree with that, and I think they would fulfill that deal for them.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
I've never been in that situation, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I can't imagine missing out on your contract for that type of deal.
So, I mean, but I try my hardest to make it to every event. I tell people all the time that people spend their hard-earned time and money to be able to come out there and see us. Mm-hmm. So I make it my number one deal. Even like last year when we wrecked the car, we put the car back together in 4 days, and that was brutal to be able to do that. But I wanted to make it to that next event because there were so many people online that was, hey, I'm coming out there to see you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, and there was times that
put the pressure on you a little, lean on you.
There was times that we thought we weren't going to be able to make it. And I told my dad, I said, well, we're going to keep pushing all the way to the last hour because it was a 24-hour haul up there. I said, so I have until Thursday at 2 o'clock to be able to make sure I'm there Friday at 2 o'clock. So if we can't leave by then, we were able to. We left at 1:30 or whatever, drove all night, got there, and then we were able to.
Dang.
Yeah, it was a long deal. But I've been fortunate enough to be able to make every event so far.
Yeah. Do you have any like deal breaker parts on the car where it's like if this part goes, like it's going to be a long haul waiting on it? Like, because there's got to be something on that car where it's like, well, it's not going to be easy to find.
Knock on wood. Hopefully, I don't have
rear end or
like
something.
That.
Like what's like?
But I have 3 of everything. That's where I've tried to do 3 of everything to make sure that we were good. The only thing I didn't have, which I just learned, was a wiring harness. So I got 2 of those now, and there's a third one to show up in Colorado. Just because I did have a little backfire, which caught on fire, and it caught the injector wires on fire. Yep. And then it did flake us a little bit. So I wanted to make sure I got those, but maybe like a rear end or something. But something very bad would have to happen for that deal to there. So.
How much parity is there between the new car you're building and the car that you have now? Like, did you, when you're putting that together, sitting there talking to them, like, are you like, can we try to use these parts because I already use these and I'm trying to like not.
I'm glad you brought that up. So the new car, the new Lexus, I don't know how it happened or what happened, but the whole rear of the car can't interchange with the other Lexus. And I was a little upset about it at the time, but it's already happened. It's done and over with.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that my Lexus that I drive now, prenup, is 17-inch 4-link centers. So the rear end, everything's set up for 17 inches. The new Lexus is 16 inches. So the rear end don't work. The wishbone don't work. The 4-link bars don't work. The anti-roll don't work. The wheelie, or I already said wheelie bars. The wheelie bars don't work. So nothing in the rear of the car can interchange with.
Is the drive shaft even the same then at that point? No, that probably is.
It is
different.
Because we put the drive shaft will be the same because we put the motor in the same spot. Now prenup prior to this year, it would have been different, but I did have to update because that car wasn't nowhere near to completion. Would it be done? I had to update prenup to be able to, and it was just at $75,000 to be able to update that car.
Well, even the new one, the other car, you have the Bloodbath, right?
Yep, that's
You're trying to keep similarity there too.
Well, Bad Blood.
Bad Blood, yeah.
Yep. So that is a 1969 Camaro. That is a 16-inch 4-link center car. And I said, you know what? From this day forward, we're just gonna go with that, and that's it.
Yeah. Where even like across the board parity, like same ECU, same wiring harness, same like.
Yeah, all that'll be the same. And I did try to put everything as in the FT Spark, FT600, EGT boxes. Everything is kind of in the same location, even if it's Lexus versus Camaro. It's kind of in the same location. Batteries, fire bottles. Parachute handle, all that, just so it was easy for me to go ahead and adapt to, and also my guys, if we were running 2 different cars, I didn't want them looking around for shit and trying to find it, where they could easily be able to locate stuff. So I did make sure on that stuff that we put everything in the same location so everybody's just familiar with it.
That's nice. I definitely tough when you have multiple cars that are super different like that.
Super different. So my stuff is all the same. Modern Racing will always wire my cars. It's always going to be the same deal there. I have 2 Noonan motors right now. I have a third one that's on order coming. And it should be here within the next 4 to 6 weeks. We're going to send that one over to Wizard let them go ahead and mock it up in that Camaro to finish up that car. That car's at powder coat right now. The Camaro is going to be done before the Lexus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that car will be over there. They'll build headers. Once they build headers, get all that done, then we'll send that car off the paint.
Damn, that car will be sick.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think we'll see how it goes. I ain't gonna lie, I've kind of lost interest in the Lexus, the new Lexus. I mean, I love the body style and love everything. It's just it's taken so long, and I'm kind of like and that's the reason why, like I said, golf has taught me to be more patient. I'm kind of an impatient person, and that deal there, we're going on, 14 months was August, so whatever that is now. And it's to the point now where I really don't even care.
Yeah, that makes sense. To finish this kind of off, well, I'm super interested at the end of this, but what is that deal in freaking New Orleans? Mm-hmm. That whole race that they're doing. I feel like I just saw that pop up out of nowhere.
It did. It's been
and then they have
a
everything involved in it.
So it's called Race Palooza.
Yeah.
It's been talked about. Like, I mean, I've known about it for a while. We just weren't allowed to talk about it. But they finally secured everything down, and we're allowed to start promoting it. So basically, there's going to be street outlaws there. Travis Pastrana, Hoonigan. There will be Formula One. There will be monster trucks, Top Fuel.
FD, Formula Drift, right?
Or Formula Drift.
Yeah, Formula Drift.
Okay. So Formula Drift, you'll have your Top Fuel, your monster trucks, and then they're having a couple concerts. It's basically just like, I haven't been to the facilities. I don't know what it looks like. But the way I think it's going to be, it's like a festival, I guess you want to say. You're just going to have all these different styles in motorsports. They're racing. And tickets go on sale actually Tuesday, tomorrow. So if people go buy tickets for it, it's in New Orleans. It's a 3-day event. If you do put in, I'm going to go ahead and plug my code now.
Do it.
If you plug in SWAN, SWAN, you get a discount, and plus it helps me out with, the ratings for Street Outlaws. So if you support what we got going on and want to see it keep growing, I appreciate it if you do put in SWAN. I'm also going to, for the people that do put in code SWAN, screenshot it and show us, you will get put in. I'm going to do some raffle deals where I'm going to give some pretty unique, very, very high dollar stuff away.
Huh. That's pretty freaking awesome. That event looks wild. I saw it pop up out of nowhere, and I was like, how have I not heard like rumblings of this while they were like
it came
amassing all these people?
So we've known about it for about 3-4 months.
I felt betrayed. I was like, I'm pretty in the motorsports world. I didn't even hear about this while they were building it up.
It's gonna be a huge deal, and I can't wait to see what it does. I know the small tire event is an invite deal. We got invited to it, but it's $100,000 to win.
Oh wow!
So it's gonna be pretty awesome.
I don't think I've ever even been, like, I've never really seen many events at that facility.
I don't know where it's at, what it is.
I NOLA Raceway Park or something.
I talked to Kai. Kai told me where we're going to be racing at is like a straightaway of the roundy round track or something. So we'll just see how it plays out. Dang. I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. We'll see how it goes. And I'll be pushing it a lot on my social medias just because, you can put in code SWAN. So.
Yeah. I like that they're giving you guys a kickback. Or any benefit, because then that adds to their marketing power by just using the people that are going to be there.
Agreed.
And I think more events need to use that. It's just influencer marketing like every other business is using now, and it's such a smart way to do it. And let you do the legwork.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I'm okay with that because like I do social media for a living. So I want to make sure that they feel like they're secured with me. I want to be doing my job. I want to be able to do that. We are going to have to go up against, Travis Pastrana and Hoonigan, who have millions and millions of viewers and subscribers and stuff. So that's going to be a little difficult. We'll probably be the lower of.
You might be surprised, man.
So I don't know. We'll see how it is. It's a 3-day event, so it's going to be a tiring event. But like I said, they're having concerts. They're bringing in. They haven't told us who the artists are yet, but they did say that they're going to be very, very known. So doing that, plus I've never got to meet Travis, but I've watched all his stuff online and doing all the dirt bikes and side by sides. So He'll be there. Hoonigan. I mean, they got some big names coming.
Dang. Well, that'll be sick, man. I'm pumped to see that. And what is it? Race Palooza?
Race
Palooza. Hit me up if you guys need somebody to come announce.
There you go.
But, dude, we'll end it off there, man. Thank you for coming down. I know you got to get out of here.
Yep.
You got to go golf.
Yeah.
And then get on a flight.
I'm going to go play around at golf real quick and then going to get on a flight, head to Colorado. I'm in Colorado this weekend. Like I said, Vegas,
Yep.
Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Alabama, and then Texas. And I heard that they're adding one more race at the end of the year that hasn't been confirmed yet, but I heard that they're going to add one more race kind of probably down here towards Florida. And I hope they do.
Hell yeah.
I really want to race here in Florida, but
Even SGMP would be nice.
yeah, and I just don't know if it's actually been secured yet. They haven't said nothing to us, but I did hear rumors, so we'll see how it plays out.
Well, hell yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, guys. Follow him, Justin Swanstrom Racing, anywhere. Swanstrom Racing, search it. I mean, shoot, it'll be in the description
it all pulls
and stuff.
Up, so it does well. I mean, our website,
Ain't hard to find.
everything. So I appreciate everybody that listens and what we got going on, and it was cool to come down here. Maybe whenever I get back, I won't be back till November. So I'm gonna be on the road the whole time. I'm not coming back home. So when I do come back, maybe we'll do a little recap of what we got going on. Right now, we are sucking. I'm going to go ahead and let you know the first couple races. I mean, when I say sucking, we're 10th in points, but we should be a lot better. We just had 2 first-round exits, so hopefully we can fix those.
That's racing, man. We'll happily have you back so we can get some updates. But, guys, go follow him. Go check him out. That'll do it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.